What if I told you that 3 of the smallest words in English, just 1, 2, or 3 letters each, are also 3 of the most confusing? I'm talking about a, an, and the. They seem tiny, but using them incorrectly is one of the clearest signs of a non-native speaker. Mastering them is like finding a secret key to sounding natural. Does this sound familiar? You're telling a story, and you hesitate. Should you say, I saw a dog, or I saw the dog? You know the nouns, you know the verbs, but these little words feel like a guessing game. You might just leave them out completely, which sounds strange, or you guess and hope for the best. This constant uncertainty is frustrating and can really hurt your confidence when speaking. Today, we are going to end the guessing game forever. Forget memorizing long lists of complicated rules. I'm going to give you a simple 2-decision system based on how native speakers actually think about these words. By the end of this lesson, you will have a clear mental map to choose the right article almost every single time, naturally and without stress. Welcome back to the English Zen Podcast. Our goal today is to bring clarity to these tiny but powerful words, a, an, and the. The core idea behind our system is understanding the difference between talking about something general versus talking about something specific. This is our first big decision. When we talk about something general, we mean anyone, not a particular one. It's the first time we are mentioning something, and the listener doesn't know which one we mean. In this situation, for singular countable nouns, we use a or an. Think of a and an as meaning one. For example, if I say, I need a pen, I mean I need any pen, not a specific pen. It's the first time I'm mentioning it. Or she wants to buy a car. Which car? We don't know yet. Any car. So we use a. Now, when do we use a versus an? The rule is very simple and based on sound, not spelling. We use an before a word that starts with a vowel sound, like a, e, I, o, u. For example, an apple, an hour. The H is silent. An umbrella. We use a before a word that starts with a consonant sound. For example, a book. A university. It starts with a y sound. A cat. So a and an are for general ideas, the first time you mention something singular. But what about when we are talking about something specific, something the listener already knows about? That's the job of our other article. So a and an are our tools for introducing something general or for the first time. But what about when we are talking about something specific? Something that both you and the listener know exactly which one you mean. For that, we use our second article, the definite article, the. Think of the as meaning this one or that one, a particular specific item. There are a few common situations where we use the. The most important one is for the second mention. When you mention something for the first time, you use a or an. But when you mention the same thing again, it is now specific. The listener knows which one you mean. So you use the. Let's go back to our examples. I saw a dog in the park. First mention, any dog. The dog was playing with a ball. Second mention, now we know which dog, the specific dog I saw. Another example, she bought a car. First mention, any car. The car is blue. Second mention, the specific car she bought. This shift from a and an to the is the heartbeat of natural English storytelling. We also use the when something is unique, meaning there is only one of them in the world or in that context. For example, the sun, the moon, the internet, the Queen of England. There's only one, so it's automatically specific. So now we have our first big decision. Is it general or the first mention? Use a or an. If it's specific, the second mention, unique, or made specific by context or extra information, use the. But there's one more layer to this system. What about when we use no article at all? That's our second key decision. So now we have our first big decision. Is it general or the first mention? Use a or an. If it's specific, the second mention, or unique, use the. But there's one more layer to this system. What about when we use no article at all? This is our second key decision, and it often depends on whether a noun is countable or uncountable, and whether we are talking about something in general or specifically. First, let's talk about uncountable nouns. These are things you cannot count individually, like water, rice, information, advice, or music. When you talk about uncountable nouns in general, you usually use no article. For example, water is essential for life. Water in general. Information is power. Information in general. I love music. Music in general. We don't say "oh water" or "the music" when speaking generally. The same rule applies to plural countable nouns when you talk about them in general. For example, dogs are friendly. Dogs in general. All dogs. Computers have changed the world. Computers in general. We don't say "the dogs are friendly" if we mean all dogs. So our second decision starts like this. Am I talking about an uncountable noun in general or a plural noun in general? If yes, then usually no article is needed. This is often called the zero article. It's the absence of an article. And this is crucial, what happens when we talk about specific, uncountable, or plural nouns? As you might guess, that's when our friend the comes back into play. So our second decision starts like this. Am I talking about an uncountable noun in general or a plural noun in general? If yes, and you are still talking generally, then you use no article. This is often called the zero article. And this is crucial, what happens when we want to talk about specific uncountable or plural nouns? As you might guess, that's when our friend the comes back into play. Specificity always requires the, regardless of whether the noun is countable, uncountable, singular, or plural. How do we make something specific? Usually by adding more information that identifies which ones we mean. Look at our earlier examples. We said water is essential. Water in general, no article. But what if I'm talking about the water in this bottle? It's now specific. So I say, the water in this bottle is cold. We also said dogs are friendly. Dogs in general, no article. But what if I'm talking about the dogs living next door? They are specific dogs. So I say, the dogs next door bark a lot. This idea of context making something specific is very important. Sometimes the context isn't in the sentence itself, but in the shared situation. Imagine you and I walk into a room, and there is only one table. If I say, please put the book on the table, you know exactly which table I mean, the only one available. It is specific because of the context. So our complete two-decision system is this. First, ask yourself, is it general or specific? If it's general and singular, use a or an. If it's specific, the second mention, unique, or made specific by context or extra information, use the. If your answer to the first question was general, then you ask the second question. Is this noun countable or plural? If yes, and you are still talking generally, then you use no article, the zero article. But this two-decision system is your key to unlocking natural English. It replaces guessing with a clear logical process. It takes practice, but by consciously using this system, you will build the intuition to choose the right article almost every single time. naturally, and without stress. For your challenge today, write a short sentence in the comments using either a, an, the, or no article, and tell me why you chose it based on our system. If this lesson helped clear up your confusion, a simple like is always appreciated. And please subscribe for more simple guides to tricky English topics. Thank you for mastering articles with me today. I'll see you in the next lesson. Keep practicing.